Hey everyone. So today I want to discuss what is definitely, without a doubt, my favorite Crass album, and that is Christ, the album, not to be confused with Christ the Bootleg, which is shit. This to me, now, this to me, this is like Crass's Frankenchrist, okay? Or the Dead Kennedys' Frankenchrist is like their Christ the album. I've always felt that way about this. I've always felt that even though like as far as like the songwriting and it doesn't sound a thing like Frankenchrist, you know, but what I mean by how I've always felt that this is Crass's Frankenchrist is it's like they took their songwriting abilities, even though this does sound like a very traditional Crass record, it doesn't at the same time. It seems like they just stepped everything up a couple notches. Like their lyrics were always so precise and they're so insightful and so enraging and so there's such a sense of satirical sort of like there's a real satirical sense, like a real scathing satirical sense of like Crass proving that the pen is mightier than the sword. And it seems like on this record it's like they doubled down on all that. Like there are so many songs on here. Mother Love's on here, 1980 Bore's on here, Birth Control and Rock and Roll. Goddamn, Joy's contributions to the band, she was so quiet and she was so subdued and she was so restrained. And yet I always found that her songs had so much weight and they had so much to say. And she said it in such a unique and such a poetic fashion that I always felt that Joy should have sort of had her own record because every song she ends up on, I just absolutely love. Like my two favorite being Birth Control and Rock and Roll and Walls. Without your walls, I am alive. I mean, if there's ever a better statement, that a better blanket statement that all of us, regardless of where we are or where we're from, we could all live by, it's definitely without your walls, I am alive. I remember back when I was debating if I should get Bad Religion, the line from Against the Grain here. It was either a toss up between that and Walls, the Without Your Walls, I Am Alive, and I was going to get it in the Crass font. I went with Bad Religion mainly because I'd been into them longer, and in the long run, I think it was the safer bet. But nonetheless, for a while there, I was debating heavily if I should get Without Your Walls, I Am Alive, or I Maintain Against the Grain. There's so many Deadheads on here, Rival Tribal Rebels on here, Major General Despair, and what I would consider to be probably the best song Crass ever written, and that's on here, and that is Reality Whitewash. I absolutely love how it's such an honest and horrible look at domestication and how it's about a couple who the man is driving around fantasizing that he's having sex with one of the Charlie's Angels girls, which I get, they were all hot. And then at the same time, the duality of his wife, who is at home, who I'm assuming doesn't look like one of Charlie's Angels. Not that I'm thinking that the dude driving around wanting to bang one of Charlie's Angels is exactly a fucking Brad Pitt or anything. But she's at home, like cleaning the house and trying to make everything perfect for him. And all the while, like the lyrics tell the tale, he's at a wife. He's out cheating on his wife with some chick at a bar, sort of making jokes at his wife's expense, you know. And I love how it sort of steamrolls from it being so personal and so domesticated, and then it quickly becomes how this way of life is all been set up so that the government, the system, has fodder for their work and targets for their gun. And the end of that, the targets for their gun, the last line in the song, fodder for their works and targets for their gun. It always reminded me of the end of the book Johnny Got His Gun by Dalton Trumbo, where you know he puts together that he's never going to walk again, he's never going to see again, he's never going to hear again, he's never going to communicate again, and yet he kind of finds like this inner peace in knowing that, like, I don't know, maybe this machine is bigger than him, and how where they tell us to shoot, we will always shoot, and that's sort of like the consensus that the protagonist in Johnny Got His Gun comes to at the end of the book, that, you know, you're not going to stop the war machine. And he's trapped inside his fucking prison. That is like Dalton Trumbo's Johnny Got His Gun is one of the fucking scariest books I've ever read in my life. And if you don't know what it is and you don't like to read, just check out Metallica's video for one. Even if you don't like Metallica, just watch the video. They use clips from the movie that was also directed by Dalton Trumbo, the author of the book. It's fucking horrifying. But anyways, yeah, I always found a similarity, sort of parallels between the end of Reality Whitewash and the end of Johnny Got His Gun. How they both come to this sort of consensus that the system's going to win, and when they tell us to shoot and kill, we're always going to shoot and kill. And I just love Crass's lyrics. I love how spot on they were, and I loved how scathing, and I loved their use of satire, and I absolutely fucking love their logo. It's like the most badass thing in the world. I don't know. This record's perfect. And then the cool thing is there's a live album that's on here as well as sort of a second disc, not as sort of, as a second disc, and it's amazing. The sound quality, it's not perfect, but it's damn good enough. Banned from the Roxy, the live version of Banned from the Roxy is worth the price of the record alone. But yeah, so I think I'm going to probably leave it there. This record is perfect. I love this record. I love this record so much. But yeah, I think I'm going to stop talking about it. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for now pushing 7 minutes while I discussed what I consider to be Crass's best album, and that is Christ, the album. If you like this review, like always, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. You guys are amazing. You should definitely check out Crass. They're catchy as fuck. Have a good day. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button, because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.